Yo, what's up guys? I'm here with my games for round 3 of Smogon Masters, and yeah, we're back. So I'm actually not going to record the round 1 and 2 games because round 1 was just very low quality. Those games were not very good. It was just double 6-0, so I didn't really want to record. That's no point. And round 2 was an activity win, so here we are in round 3. So my opponent is Kaif Plays, I think that's how you pronounce that, and yeah, that's how I got into it. So just wanted to use Zeraora and Volcanion because though my opponent was pretty weak to those, which he is. He's actually incredibly weak to Zeraora. His only counterplay is Lando, which is pretty easy to wear down with the combination of knockoff, stealth rock, things like that. And Volcanion is a massive threat to his team because he only has 1 water resist on top of Finny, which doesn't actually beat Volcanion 1v1, and everything else gets bodied. So pretty good matchup here. Just gotta play smart and just watch out for Tapu Lele if his specs. It's a pretty big threat to my team because he can trap my main psychic resist being Corviknight. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So let's hop right into the game. As I'm gonna lead off with my Volcanion. Yes. As this game happened 2 months ago, so forgive me if some of my narration is a bit shaky because I don't really remember this game too much. But yeah, anyway, as he leads a Lele. So the reason I love Volcanion is because I didn't want him leading off with Lando into Zeraora, despite it having very good matchup into his team. Because what would happen is I'd have to switch into my Lando on his Lando, which is just not very good on like a U-turn or something. He goes Torn, he's able to knock off. I don't want to go Zero on Torn, take a bunch of unnecessary damage. I can't go to Corviknight on his Lando because he has a Magnezone, so if you U-turn, it's very bad. So figured Volcanion would be the best lead as far as putting me a step ahead of that whole situation. But no, he leads Tapu Lele, which makes sense. That's pretty decent matchup versus my team, being stuff like Lando, Volcanion, threatens an Oko with Psychic. So I'm gonna have to switch out of there, go hard to my Corv as he just side shocks. I believe he double side shocks actually. It makes sense because there's no way I'm gonna Brave Bird into a Magnezone. So it's pretty free for him as he gets a bunch of damage off of my Corv. So that's it was good for him as I'm able to U-turn out. My plan here was to just U-turn into my Volcanion. Put him in range of the Steam Eruption, as if he opts to stay in, I can tank the side shock. Won't take it well, but I can take it and knock him out. Basically trades 75% of my Volcanion's health to get rid of this big threat as the Lele goes down turn 3, which I'm pretty happy about. That was a pretty big nuisance to my team. As what I do here versus the Torn, go to my Lando is the least useful. As far as of Hurricane, the only thing that can knock me out from there, so makes sense. As I just fire off a Toxic, I'm like, he actually doesn't have pretty good, he doesn't have good switch-ins into this Lando. His Toxic switch-ins are weak to Earthquake, and you don't really want to go hard to Finny because, Calm Mind, that can be pretty decent versus my team, so you don't want to let that take unnecessary damage. As he just opts to stand and Hurricane again. That is Toxic there, just my best play. As I believe I U-turn the next turn as he U-turns. Yeah, I U-turn there because I'm like, there's no reason to go for Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is pretty trash versus team. Only thing it really helps me do is weaken Lando, which is kind of unimportant. I can beat Lando in other ways. He has a Boost Torn, 2 Steel types. I'm like, Rocks is just unimportant. So I just U-turn, give up the momentum. So this allows me to bring my Volcanion back in and fire off the Steam Eruption. Thing is, he doesn't really want to switch Tapu Fini into this because he's, like I said, he's like the Calm Mind set, which does not beat me fast enough, especially switching in. Like, you don't want to switch it in and take like 30%, because at that point that's never winning the game. And nothing else wants to come in. Like, Torn is the only other thing that can come in, but it's poisoned and it's gonna be taking like 80% from Steam Eruption, and then 6% from Toxic, so you don't really want to switch that in either, especially considering I have a Kartana, which is the other thing that's a massive threat to his team with Torn Toxic. So taking that damage pretty much means you'll just lose the Kartana from there. So he doesn't really have a switch in, as he just leaves the Lando in and just drops, and that's great for me as he has no more switch-ins to my Zeraora. So That's good for me, as he goes to Finny there. As I go to my own Finny because it's the least useful, because he has Melmetal, Magnezone, all these things. As I just taunt him there, prevent him from comp mining. I do have a bit of speed on this type of Finny, so I'm able to outspeed him twice in a row. Maybe I'll outspeed him. As he just draining kisses for no damage. As I believe Nature's Madness here. Yeah, because it covers for everything. It covers the type of Finny staying in, and it covers the Melmetal and or Magnezone switch. As I do Nature's Madness again, just trying to just keep him low. Because the lower this thing is, like, you know, can't really beat Corviknight, as he's at 6%. So once I get up my Stuff Rock, this thing is dead upon switch, as he just T-bolts twice, not even trying to predict the Zeraora or Lando coming out. This doesn't really matter, but I was actually surprised by this play, because, you know, I have 2 electric immunities, but he just doesn't care. He goes for the double T-Wall, knocks me out, but not without taking a bunch of chip on his own. It's pretty much useless at this point. At 6%, I mean, he can use it to trap Corviknight later, but I mean, it's gonna be hard to do that at this point, as he just sacks it there. Just Volt Switch out, as I actually expected him to Toxic first, not go for an attacking move, because you don't want to, like, you know, bash into Rocky Helmet. It's pretty horrible, taking like 30%. So I expected him to do that first. I pivot to Corviknight, and then U-turn out into my Lando. It covers for him predicting the roost and going for something like Superpower, Earthquake, as you know, his Lando just covers for everything. Take no damage from that, 16%. And at this point, he's at -2, so he can't even stay in there. That's not even an optimal play. And U-turn once again covers for everything. If he leaves the Melmetal in, I'll go back to Corviknight and roost. And if he goes to Torn, I just U-turn out, bring in Zeraora, and basically collect a Mon from him, because there's no switch-ins at this point. So as U-turn out, no reason to do anything else, as I just go to my Zeraora and basically claim a KO. So Plasma Fist, knock out the Torn, and with that, Quartana will just win the game from there. And that is going to be a good game. A pretty quick one, 18 turns, and yeah, we're going to be back with the second. We're here with game 2. We're playing Sun and Moon, and as you can see, I got some nice juicy stall. Actually, it's funny, I never use stall in tournament, like almost never use this, like, but the thing is, my opponent, like, when I was watching his replays, his teams are just very susceptible to, like, fatter builds like this. Like, doesn't really use good hazard control, and his team just had poor longevity in general, which can be abused by teams like this. So I was just like, screw it, let's just use stall, because it was pretty unexpected for me. So I was like, whatever. And yeah, as you can see, using balls to the wall offense, definitely the type of team stall loves to see. Just like I said, poor hazard control, because the Lando's rocks on this team. And yeah, I could pretty much tell like what the sets were, like the cart Scarf for sure on this type of build. And yeah, so you wouldn't be like default Kartana with Scarf. So I was like, once I get my hazards up, his rocks and spikes just really destroy his team. As you can see, 5 of his mons are grounded, so his spikes really like really body his team. So I was breaking this down, like Sableye, pretty important for blocking both the Landorus and Greninja from getting up, you know, spikes and rocks. If he's defensive Lando, he's basically never getting rocks up. Anton's pretty trash in this game, doesn't really do anything beside default, I suppose. Skarm actually is pretty instrumental in this game. Walls like 3 out of his 6 being Lando, Mawile, and Cart. Mawile being the most important one. You know, with SD, it could be pretty threatening. Gotta be careful on that. Chansey is kind of his whole team as well. Beside like a side shotgun Lele or Mawile, stuff like that. Quasar is pretty much just there to keep the Mawile from getting out of control, and Magearna is there to check the top of Lele. So pretty much I'm just trying to hazard up and just, you know, play a defensive game. That's pretty much it. Just gotta watch out for both Mawile and Lele, which are always pretty big threats to stall. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. I'm gonna be leading off with my Sableye. I actually really don't like leading off with Sableye using this type of team because it's very obvious and people always try to anti-lead Sableye, you know, with fairy types. I know we lead like something like Lele, but the thing is, if I don't lead Sableye, I'm gonna have trouble keeping hazards off later on, so I kind of had to lead it. It's like very important to get the Mega off. So like I wanted to lead Magearna knowing that he's gonna lead Lele, but it's just not ideal to do so. It's more important to keep hazards off despite how obvious this lead is. So I'm just gonna do the standard protect with Sableye and then switch out as he just fires off a Moonblast, as I believe I switched to Chansey. Yeah, Chansey's just the best all-around play. Not really want to go with Magearna and take unnecessary damage, as I'm actually gonna leave Chansey in. So T-Wave the small ball. With this thing T-Wave, this means Quagsire pretty much beats it 100%, like barring crits, even with crits. I can just recover stall. So this thing is pretty much neutered for the rest of the game, as I felt that trading Chansey's health for crippling the Mawile is very vital in this game. So I'm gonna switch the Chansey out to Skarmory as over Quagsire because I want to get spikes up. Spikes are very important in this game, like I said, to winning long term. So you play Russ there, possibly expecting Quag to come in, as I just spike up there. Go to Sableye. Sableye is like important for keeping hazards off, but other than that, it's kind of whatever. A lot of his team beats it, so I think on this team is Protean Grid, not Ash, so it's pretty free, as Sableye pretty much walls Protean Grid for life, as like Ice Beam's there, basically fishing for freeze, as like he doesn't get it. Able to recover, I believe, yeah, recover there, as he goes hard to Mawile, which doesn't go unpunished because he takes knockoff and spikes, and knockoff is just my best play there, because not like the Greninja's to it killing me. As if I knock off his life orb, then he's actually not doing anything with that. So knock off, get off a nice 28% on the Mawile, coming in on spikes. As I go hard to Quagsire, I don't want to go hard to Skarm if he had like knockoff or something, because the helmet's pretty important for punishing Kartana and Lando. So cover there. As it goes hard to Cart, I'm like okay. As now here I'm like, these levers are gonna knock off. There's no way you Leaf Blade into a Skarm and let me get more spikes up, or let me roost, and you're just taking 16% for nothing basically. So I'm like, this guy is either he's gonna knock off or double into something here. I didn't know what, but whatever he doubled into, Scald would catch. As no, he just Leaf Blades. And they get smashed there. Now that was not the play. Because the thing is, despite like, you know, a non-Leaf Blade, like in my head being pretty obvious, like on all chance that he did, losing Quag is pretty bad, because with Mawile SDs, you know, I'm forced to go to Skarm and counter and take a bunch of damage and basically lose my Kartana answer after that. So, and the thing is, like in this game, he has to bank on me making, you know, dumb plays like that to even have a chance to win. So I get punished there. Honestly, I really thought that he would not Leaf Blade. It was pretty, like, Skarm is just such a free switch. I didn't think he would, but he actually just straight up Leaf Blades and blows me away. So now I'm in the back because I lost Amon for no reason. So Rue's there to stay at absolute full for the Mawile potentially SDing later on. As also Lele reveals that he has Thunder. I wouldn't have revealed that if I were him. He does. As Thunder into HP Fire on my Magearna does a lot of damage, and I'm able to Flash Cannon and do 46%. 46% shows me that he's Assault Vest, which makes sense if he's switching up moves like that. So I believe I Heal Bell, Z Heal Bell, yeah. As I go back to full, what this allows me to, you know, come in on the Lele later on, you know, not get too killed, because I was at like 40%. As I go to Skarm, knowing he's gonna likely U-turn and or Earthquake, predicting Sableye, as I'm able to punish that. So he goes to Magearna. Again, the spikes, putting in work for me right now. Takes a nice 12%. Doesn't able to go to Chansey. I believe the Magearna is like an offensive set on this team. It's not like Assault Vest with Volt Switch, which is the only reason why you wouldn't Volt Switch there. As use Ice Beams for no damage, as I'm able to heal all that off. As it goes Hard Greninja, basically trying to get spikes up, not allowing that. But he doesn't, goes for the Ice Beam. As here again, Sableye is always my best play. There's no reason to allow him to get any hazards up. As I believe I recover here, as he's just switching around. See what I mean about just the poor longevity with this team. He's just switching into spikes a bunch of times. As real hard to Scarm. I believe I counter there, but he has Fire Fang, which I didn't expect. So it made sense like in the earlier turns when he didn't click knockoff, because if you had it, you definitely click that versus Chansey or Quiet coming in. But my Scarm gets blown away. So this is where not having my Quasar alive really cost me, because now I'm down. Now I'm down 4-6 for basically no reason, when this Mawile should be dead and I should have a full health Scarm right now. But I'll go to Magearna here to revenge kill him with the Flash Cannon, as it's not looking too good right now, because I lost both my best, one of my best answers to is Kartana. So a Katana can actually break through a stall, which is just dumb. So anyway, go to my Sableye here, as I can eat up 2 Earthquakes as he U-turns out, predicting that. Good play on his part, and or covering for the Mantine coming in. As I just protect just to play around a bit. As really go to Magearna here, as I can take any 2 hits from this thing, even HP Fire on the switch. As he thunders there. Now he really messed up thundering, as you guys are going to see later on. He really should have HP fired. There was actually no reason to thunder there. It's not like I'm going to switch to Mantine. That doesn't make sense. As he really should have took his HP Fire chip, but it did a nice 30%. And it's really going to cost him. So I'd go for the Flash Cannon there and knock him out. It's free. He has no switch. As he goes back to Lando again. I go to Mantine here. Don't want to go to Sableye, take another U-turn, because then, next time I come in, I'll be 2 killed by Earthquake. So not really the play. As I go to Mantine here. As he goes to Cart, basically risking a burn. So I'm like, I'm going to take this trade here. I'll potentially get a burn, get rid of the biggest threat to my team at this point. As I get a crit, Scald. I don't burn him though. As Elite Blaze again knocks me out. I have no switch, so obviously I have to stay in. I don't think Chansey can take 2 from there, and even if it does, I think 2 crits can knock me out or something like that, or like crit into regular Leaf Blade, so I can't even switch. As here, this is where I said he messed up not going for HP Fire versus Magearna. If he did, he actually had a good shot to win, because he knocked me out from like 18%, after HP Fire. But because I'm at 51%, he basically has to get a crit to knock me out, which he does not get, as I'm able to knock him out with the Flash Cannon, and that's great for me. So at this point, this is looking, in my favor again, after all those, mistakes. As I have to stay in there, I can switch Sableye in from that range. I believe I'll be 2 KO'd. As he turns out, goes to Magearna. I believe I recover, yes, in case he decides to Earthquake. As protect here, just to waste a potential Flare Cannon as the Ice Beams, and then the Flare Cannons the following turn. As Chansey, as you can see, can actually solo the rest of his team. It's not particularly ideal to like be Seismic Tossing versus Lando. I don't have Toxic on the Chansey, so I'm actually forced to Seismic Toss and take Helmet Chip plus Earthquake. But Chansey's actually gonna be really good versus the rest of his team, as I go hard to Sableye on the rocks, because I'm like, his only like way to come back at this point is by getting rocks up and then like U-turning a bunch of times, or like doubling Magearna out on Chansey and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna allow that. My Sableye's at 100%, so there's no reason not to go to it. As rocks and spikes up, meaning this Magearna is gonna be heavily punished every time it comes in, taking 18% plus burn is pretty much just over for Magearna. And Magearna is the only thing that can beat Sableye at this point. So yeah, I'll go to Chansey again, as even if he doubles, it doesn't matter. I can just Salt Boat on Lando. Yeah, Salt Ball there, and Earthquakes. I think I keep Salt Balling basically to condition him to think I'm gonna keep staying in with Chansey, and then on a turn that he goes for rocks, I'm gonna catch him, as you guys gonna see. So I Salt Balled I think twice, yeah, 2 times, and then knowing that, yeah, I Salt Balled I think 1 more time, yeah, as damn, actually, I Silent Toss there. Get some chip, as here I finally switched to, I'm gonna go back to that turn, I switched to my Sableye after like 5 turns, so it got like heavily outplayed there, because like I said, getting a rocks like pretty much is the only way to come back at this point. So I conditioned him there to think I'll just keep staying in with Chansey, because what he thought is that since my chances at 50% I would heal, and on that turn he'd be able to get at rocks, but no, he's not allowed to do that, as able to recover, protect, just to waste an Earthquake. This is at 9 Earthquakes, and Earthquakes again, it does no damage as I knock him off. I knock off over Wisp, because that would mean that Chansey can Seismic Toss him down without taking, Rocky Helmet, as I'm risking a crit, but I feel like kind of had to at that point. I'm risking crits either way, so I just recover here, as he doesn't even try to go for Earthquake crit. As I protect, just a waste of Furler Cannon, as he Focus Blast predicting Chansey, which makes sense because I can 2 a kill from there, I believe. As I goes for the Z fight on the switch, doesn't knock me out, does 50% because my Chansey is actually not even max HP. I actually have a bit of speed to outspeed stuff like Paralyzed Lele, but yeah, that does a lot, almost kills me, as because I have a bit of speed on this Chansey, I'm actually able to outspeed him, which is pretty funny, and able to heal there, and from there the game is pretty much over because Chansey is 1v1s everybody else. Greninja's never doing anything. Gunk Shot's doing maybe like 30%, and Landorus just Seismic Toss. I Salt Ball into Seismic Toss, and the game is over from there. As close to Greninja, Gunk Shots does 40%. Like I said, his Chansey's not even max HP, which is why it does so much. As Salt Ball again, basically just Salt Ball stall here. He has to fish for freezes, which he does not get, as goes to Lando, and I just knocked him out with the Seismic Toss, and that is game. So this could have been a much simpler game had I just played correctly with my Quagsire. That Mawile would have gotten no kills. This would have been a much smoother game, but decided to be stupid. Anyway, that's the game, and yeah, I'll be back with my round 4 games. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you all next time. Peace.